Hello Internet students! Welcome back to the Arduino Basics tutorial series. This is lesson number 19. In this lesson, we're going to be wiring up a water sensor and then writing the data from that water sensor to an SD card. Compared to the last two lessons, this one will be relatively short because we've already started to learn all of the structure that we need. It's just a matter of bringing in a new input, which in this case is a water sensor. Let's have a look at the wiring. Let's start by reviewing the wiring for our SD card reader and writer module. From top to bottom, we're going to ground, then we're going to 5 volt, then we're going to pin 12, pin 11, pin 13, and then finally pin 10. So coming down, we're going from our MISO or MISO is pin 12, our MOSI is pin 11, our SCK is going to 13, and then our signal pin, our CS, is going to 10. So that's going to wire up our SD. You'll see I used a breadboard here just to make use of the voltage and ground rows. Here is my water level sensor. So it's got clearly labeled pins, an S, a plus, and a minus. The minus is going to go to ground. The plus is going to go to voltage. And the S, or the signal, we're going to bring to one of the analog inputs on our Arduino. In my code, I used A0 for this. This is what our wiring diagram is going to look like for our water level sensor. That's going to write data to an SD card. Meet me over in the coding environment once you have this done, and we'll get started with writing the code. Here we are in our coding interface for lesson number 19. I have a new file. We're going to start by setting up our libraries and our global variables that we need throughout our class. So the only library we need is our SD library. We don't need one for the water level sensor as it just uses an analog read on a standard analog pin. Variables, we need our file object, which is called myFile. We have a string file name, which I've called water.csv. So we're going to store our data as a comma separated value file. So make it easier to import it into spreadsheets if we want to graph the data. I have an int for the water value, which I've currently set to 0, and an int for the water pin, which I've set to A0. Jumping into our setup function, we're going to set up our serial monitor for debugging, and we're going to wait for the serial monitor to be launched. So we're going to do a serial.begin 9600, and then a while not serial. So it'll wait while the serial port connects before it moves on with the rest of the code. So if you remember lesson 17, when we worked with the SD card, we wrote a couple of methods. We wrote one to initialize the card. We're going to just bring that entire method into this program. So I'm going to go here in between my setup and loop function, and I'm going to add in the methods that we decided to add in. So there's my initialize card method from lesson number 17. Not going to bother changing it. This is going to allow us to initialize the SD card for writing and reading. So I will call initialize card from the setup. We're going to see a little more code from lesson 17. We're going to put the if statement in. That's going to check if the file name already exists. If it does, it's going to remove that file and print a debug statement letting us know. If sd.exists file name, this will return true if the file name already exists on the card. sd.remove file name, so get rid of it, and then print a debug statement saying that the file had already existed. It's been removed and overwritten. And last thing of the setup function is we have to write headers to our file. So we're going to steal the write header method from lesson 17 as well, and we're going to call it from the end of our setup function. Now, when I bring write header in, we will have to modify it a little bit. So let's do that now. So here I am underneath the initialize card method. Make some room, and I will paste my write header method. So this opened up our file with the right file name as a write. It checked if the file opened properly, and then it printed debug statements to say that it was writing the file name. And then it printed to the actual file two comma separated values. So in the previous lesson, it just said time and value. So I've changed that to read time, comma, water level. And those will be the headers that we'll use for this lesson. And then I close the file. The else statement is if it didn't open the file properly, it prints that out. So looking at our setup function, at the moment, it sets up serial and waits for it. It initializes the SD card. It makes sure the file name doesn't already exist. If it does, it removes it. Then it writes the header value to our file. So that'll write time and water level, comma separated values to the top of our file. Now we're entering our loop function. And so we're going to set it up so that we read the value from the water level sensor, print a debug statement to serial, and then also write that data to the SD card. So first things first, my water val variable is going to be equal to an analog read on the water pin. That's going to read in the value from the water level sensor. I'm then going to print that as a debug statement. and I have a 5-second delay after that. In between here is where I'm going to need to write the data to my card. So remember from lesson 17, we had the write data method. Well, we're going to call that here, and then we're going to copy and paste it over from lesson 17 and just make a couple of tweaks. I'm going to go above my loop function, and I'll paste that write data function. Write data. Now, we still want to store the time value as milliseconds and a comma, but then we want it to print the water val, as opposed to that value variable that we had been using in the previous lesson. We want it to print the water val that it had just read from the analog pin 0. And then we close the file. That's all we have to do there to write this data to the file. So if I look at my loop, it's going to read the sensor, debug statement, write the data to the file, and then delay 5 seconds. So this is all we need in our code. Let's run through it really quickly just to make sure we understood it. We're going to set up our serial. We're going to initialize our card. We're going to check the file name, and if it exists, we overwrite it and remove the old file name. We're going to write the header values, which should be the time and the water level. Then we're going to come into the loop function, where it's going to read the sensor, print it to the debug or to the serial, write it to the card, wait 5 seconds, and then repeat. And it will continue to do this indefinitely. All right, let's push it out to our board and let's see how it works. All right, so we got the serial monitor open. We see that it initialized the card successfully, that the file had already existed because I've been doing this before the video started, so it's been overwritten. It says writing to water.csv, and you can see it's writing a water value of 0 every 5 seconds. Now at the moment, I don't have my sensor sitting in water, so I'm going to pick up my sensor here, and I'm going to dip it into some water. So now we're seeing 522. We'll go a little bit deeper. 536. 537. And we're starting to see that water data going up. Now, one thing I find with these water sensors is they take quite a while for the water to dry off of them. So you will see lower levels. So you see I brought it up out of the water a little bit. I'm into the 300s. Now, if I remove it from the water entirely, give it a little tink on the side of the water bottle, what you'll see is it's not going to drop right to 0 right away. Here we are at 75. So when you're coding for this, you need to take that into account. If you were using this as some type of system to kind of be monitoring water levels and maybe having like a trigger mechanism, so if you had electronics that were sensitive and you didn't want them to get wet, just be aware that once the sensor gets wet at all, it does take quite a bit of time for it to completely dry off and go back down to a water level of 0. So you are going to have a bit of a buffer there at the bottom. So before we call it done, let me turn off my Arduino, plug my SD card into my computer, and have a look at the actual CSV file. So I went into my SD card and I opened up the water.csv file, and it brought me in here with all of this data. And you can see my time and my water level, time in milliseconds, starting at 0. There's where I submerged it. There's where I lifted it up a bit. And then there's where I removed it from the water completely. And you can see this on a graph, which is nice. When we bring in a CSV file, we can easily make graphs from them. You can see not in the water here and also not in the water here. And you can see the difference because the sensor's wet here. So this is the great thing about being able to do this. That's it for the base lesson. We're getting into kind of the real use of Arduinos now, which is working at sensor boxes is a really common use for Arduinos. Gather in sensor data, store it, or send it off remotely. We'll see you in the extension in just a minute. Great job on the base lesson. In the extension, all I want you to do is add a buzzer to your circuit, and I want you to wire that buzzer so that it goes off at a certain threshold. So if the water level hits 200, 300, 400, whatever you're going for, I want the buzzer to sound, to act as a bit of an alarm. You can choose how you want it to go, whether you want it to go for 5 seconds until the delay is over and then turn back off, or as long as the water level is above a certain value, it will continue to keep the buzzer on until the water level comes back down. So whichever way you think would work best for this lesson, but that's what I want you to do for the extension for this activity. All right, so last 2 lessons have been really big, so the challenge on this one we're going to keep pretty small. You've already got it working with a buzzer, writing the value to the SD card. Let's add in a visual element. So we like the sound to alert us from the buzzer that the water level has reached a certain threshold. Let's bring in an LED as well. So let's bring in a nice bright red LED and have that LED turn on if the water threshold is past a certain point, and then it can turn back off if the water threshold goes back down. I wouldn't recommend putting it at 0 because, like I said, if it's water that's going to come up and go back down, like maybe in a sub pump, you want to allow the sensor time to dry off after the water level goes back down. So you might want to have the alarm closer to 100 or maybe a little higher so that you know for sure that the water level is remaining there and that it hasn't receded. Okay, so let's add in an LED to the circuit, and then we've got ourselves a great little sensor box. Maybe get it set up in your basement with a battery, and you can track that water data if you needed to check it out. Thanks so much for sticking with us for 19 videos. Look forward to seeing you back for lesson number 20, which will be our final lesson of the main series, and then we'll be doing some extension videos after that. If you like what we're doing, like the video, subscribe to our channel to stay tuned as we continue to create more content. Have a great day.